guys, Cleo here, and I'm just setting you up for the beginning of a reading vlog. So I haven't done a reading vlog in a while, but I'm gonna be doing a dedicated one. If you see stuff on my bed, I think I angled this camera correctly, but I am like drying out some of my laundry. So if you see like socks and stuff like that, that's why. But so I have for a while like been hoping to be able to kind of dedicate enough time to reading like the entire long list or something of a particular award. I have done so in the past for the Booker Prize, and I will link that experience down below. But what I am mostly interested in, or like what I've decided in since last year, is that the prize that I am most interested in is the International Booker Prize. I just think the international body of works creates some really interesting novels to go through, and some really interesting and just some novels that really fit what I tend to look for when I'm looking at literary fiction in particular. So I am going to be trying to read some of those. I won't dedicate myself to the full long list. But what I am going to be doing is tomorrow, when the long list is announced, I am going to be going through the books from shortest to longest for one entire week. So I'm hoping to get through a few of these within that week, and then hopefully I can find a time in April to dedicate another week to this particular project and read some more for the prize, and that way get through hopefully a decent chunk of the long list. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and you know, without further ado, I'll just hand it over to tomorrow's version of me, who will in the evening be going through the long list together with you guys. So work day is over, and let's go and check it out, because I have throughout the day already like had to click away certain posts a few times, because a few times I was very close to being spoiled for the Booker International. To be fair, I don't know whether I would know these books, because I think like when it comes to these types of books, they're probably like, I don't want to say that I'm not aware of them, but I'm not as aware of them as I am of fantasy releases. But so yeah, the International Booker Prize 2023. I already see one book in the sort of like teaser post that I recognize because I follow that publisher. So I'm just going to be looking at the list now with you guys. I will kind of have some images on the screen. So Ninth Building, don't know it. A System So Magnificent It Is Blinding, don't know it. Stillborn, don't know it, but that is a very like well-known publisher of translated fiction. Pyre, never heard of it. While We Were Dreaming, I've never heard of any of these, you guys. The Birthday Party, nope. Life in Lviv, nope. Is Mother Death, nope. Standing Heavy, don't know it, no. Time Shelter, The Gospel According to the New World, nope. And then we're almost at the end of it, and we get to that book that I knew, The Whale, or like Whale, by Chong Myung Kwang. And so I follow Europa Editions on Instagram, so I didn't know about this book. And then Boulder by Eva Balthazar. I don't know it, but I think that I have kind of seen that title or that cover around. But so most of this year's long list I've never seen pass on like my timeline or anything like that, and I feel like there are some significant books that have been left out. For example, the new Miko Kawakami is not in here, which to be fair I'm quite okay with, because I didn't necessarily enjoy the first book all that, like not the first book that I read by her. I didn't necessarily fully get on board with that, but I do still want to try out other of her works. But then most particularly Greek Lessons by Han Kang is not here. As far as I'm aware, it is eligible for it. It is coming out in April or later this month, but I thought it was part of the like books that were eligible for this prize. So that would be to some extent a surprise for me, because that's like one of my most anticipated translated novels for this year. So that would be quite sad if it was eligible and it didn't make it. But you know, I have a ton of new authors to check out, and so I don't know why I waited for this live reaction, because clearly I don't know any of these books, so I don't have an interesting opinion to give. So I'm gonna make a list of them in terms of the order in which I will be reading them. I will also probably be checking out whether some of them might be on script. translated fiction is less likely to be on script, but if some of them are, then maybe those will get like some priority. Another big miss here is Knights of Plague, or The Knights of the Plague by Orhan Pamuk. Would have really expected that one in there, but I'm happy it's not, because it's a humongous book, so it means I don't have to read through that, but who knows, maybe there are some real chunkers in this list that I just don't know because I don't know them. Alright guys, so quick update about my progress so far. So I started and finished the first book. It is now Thursday. I'm about to do sprints in under an hour. So I started and finished the first book, which is Boulder by Eva Baltasar. This is a book in Catalan, translated into English by Julia Sanchez. This is 112 pages, and my idea was like, this is gonna be easy. Only 112 pages. I'm gonna be done with it within one evening, which was not the case. I find it difficult to talk about this story because I feel like it was so directionless, but I guess the sort of main takeaway, or the part that, most resounded with me, I guess, to some extent, is we're looking at this woman who basically has no strings at the beginning of this story, and then she falls in love with this other woman when she's on land, because she basically has this job on a boat, and so while she's somebody who doesn't really want to settle down for this woman, she decides to move to Iceland and really live a settled life there with her, and things seem to be going quite well, in spite of her being a little bit of a somebody who doesn't really want to, in spite of her being a little bit of a nomadic person, until the point in which her partner kind of wants to have a child. And so I think I saw somewhere where it said this book will prove that three is a crowd. But yeah, my main problem with this book is its meandering nature. And it's not necessarily that it's meandering, it's just that it there never felt like there was a direction or an intention in this book. I just always felt like I was just going along with the flow of this story, and that ultimately I was just left kind of feeling okay, so what was this book trying to portray or discuss? The writing style in and of itself also is less my thing, though it would kind of depend. At times I was quite grabbed and engaged, and at other points I just felt like it was a little bit too flowery for my taste, a little bit over embellished. But so my first experience was not super great. It's also not so much of a slog that I was really struggling with it, but it's definitely not the type of read that really engages me and makes it a fun ride. But so I have started book 2, but I will be talking about that in a later clip. Hey guys, so it is Saturday afternoon. I yesterday finished Standing Heavy by Goth, which was a mixed experience. It's a book by an Ivory Coastian, I don't know how you say that in English, and it's translated from French. It was translated by, I think his name was Frank Wine. I will have his name on the video somewhere. And so it's a book about 3 generations of people from Ivory Coast who have moved to Paris to try and kind of make it in France, and about, the way that their life has gone down here in France. They've basically all been living in this sort of house that supposedly is meant to house students who come from the Ivory Coast to France to study. However, there are some like complications going on with that as well. In principle, it's like it doesn't really have like a direction. It's very much just a sort of like experience type of book. But I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I enjoyed the first book that I read for the International Booker. It's just that what I mainly enjoyed was certain chapters. So it would kind of interchange between two writing styles. And so one chapter would be like regular traditional type of writing that we use, and then the next chapter would be kind of told as if it's like a dictionary entry. And so every single dictionary entry would tell you something about the experiences that this person is having working as a security guard in clothing stores mainly. Like originally he works in a clothing store, then he works for Sephora. And so this style of dictionary entry storytelling really worked well for me, and I really enjoyed those chapters. Overall, I enjoyed this one more than I enjoyed the first one, but it still wasn't really my cup of tea all the way through, though this one also definitely wasn't a struggle to get through neither. But so I have started my third book now, which is Pyre. This is an Indian book. It is translated from the Tamil. I will have the author name and translator's name on the screen because at this point in time I don't really remember those things. I think it is 201 pages. I started it yesterday, got some 20 pages into that, but today, so far, I haven't been reading anything at all. So I have so far mainly been watching videos about running. I'm trying to motivate myself to go running, not today, but to start running again. And these videos make me motivated, but I still haven't taken the actual step. So we'll see whether that ever happens. But so I did that, and then I went for a walk with a friend. So I did do some exercise because my Fitbit registered quite a few exercises. I walked quite quickly to the bus stop in hope of catching the bus, didn't catch the bus, so I had a walk that my Fitbit registered. Then I cycled there instead, so my Fitbit registered a cycling session, and then we went for a walk of like over an hour. So that was also auto registered, and then it actually didn't register my cycling back. But so it's been an active day, and considering how usually my weekends are just like me sitting on my sofa, I'm gonna consider this a win and be kind to myself. But so it would be ideal for me to start reading now, but I'm actually just watching another running video right now, so we'll see whether I get around to it, and I'll give you my thoughts on Pyre in a later update. Hey guys, so this weekend was not a great reading weekend. I basically, as I said, Saturday did almost no reading, and then on Sunday I spent most of my time playing The Sims. The idea was in the afternoon I was gonna switch, but then switching became difficult, so I ended up spending almost the entire day playing The Sims. But so I did just today, so Monday, finish Pyre by Perumal Murugan. This is a Indian novel translated from the Tamil, I want to say. It's bleak, very, very bleak. So this is a novel about two people who get married, and it's early on becoming clear to the reader that their circumstances from getting married aren't ideal. And so he's taking her back to his home village. He met her in sort of like a bigger city where he was working to earn some more money. And so now he's taking her back to his parental home, so to speak. However, they are encountering a lot of hostility. So the book talks a lot about caste, and so it is implied that they are marrying outside of each other's caste, and the village in which they are currently staying in, and that is clearly not done. And so a lot of the book explores this dynamic between this young couple and then his mother and his relatives, but overall, the overall reactions of the village to his decision, has they feel like his decision have impacted their lives, and the sort of like standing of the village with the gods. It's a very bleak book to read. It's a lot about anxiety. It's a lot about misunderstanding or unwillingness to understand one another. Um, Very much this sort of us versus them mentality running all the way through it. Um, and at parts, I was definitely starting to feel like it was wearing out on me, and I was starting to feel like it's not a fun read, of course, because of all the things that I just said about it. But I was also starting to feel like, we're just getting the same old repeats of the anxieties of our protagonist, of this young girl, about being in these surroundings and about how people are treating her, and like some of the doubts that she has about past decisions that have left her here. Um, so it's not a fun read, but some of those things were definitely becoming like a little bit drawn out to some extent. But then it has like a really intense, anxiety inducing sort of end sequence that then fully like made it all worth it to me to some extent, which is a little bit weird to say if you know the ending, because it is a very dark thriller type ending to this book. But it kind of felt like the perfect culminations of all these like lower level anxieties that we've seen building throughout the rest of the novel. So yeah, actually I ended up by the end of it really appreciating how it was structured and built, to get to that really well working ending for me. So yeah, another instance of the ending saving the experience for me. But yeah, this one definitely has been my favorite out of the three that I've read. I was absolutely hoping to be able to read more throughout this week, because I gave myself 1 week time, and so tomorrow is the like tomorrow it will have been 1 week since the announcement. So yeah, this is the end for this particular vlog. I will definitely do another installment of this in April. Hoping to get a little bit more read then. But yeah, these were already the shortest ones, so we will see. Maybe I'll also be a little bit more in the reading mood at that point in time. But maybe it's also the fact that these books were a little bit more of a struggle for me personally that made it so that I wasn't going through them as quickly as I would have liked. So yeah, hopefully better luck with the next batch. But in any case, I'm hoping to get a few of them done in any case, so that when the shortlists like lands, I will have some sort of an opinion about some of the books that have made it on there, or some of the books that maybe I will have enjoyed that won't have made it on there. But so yeah, with that, I'm going to sign off, turn off the lights, and go to sleep. See you guys for a future vlog or for a future video. Bye, guys.